Greetings, dear masters. I welcome all of you to this week 15 of our unified English course. Today we are going to start a new chapter, the 15th week, and by far this is the most elaborate chapter for this book. We have been reading all the chapters one by one and learning step by step all the concepts initially and then learning how to manage our manifestation. Now, in this chapter, what we are going to do is bring everything together. So, this chapter builds on the knowledge of all the previous chapters. We are now going to take control of everything. Now, there is no more assistance from now on in this book. Further in subsequent days, what we will be doing will be just growing our understanding. In terms of techniques, we have learned all that was necessary for us to learn. So that's where we are right now in our journey, and I hope all of you are feeling the impact, feeling the effect of what you have learned so far in your day-to-day routine, your life, and in how things are going on in your manifestation world. So with that, I will start the session. The reading of the book we will start now, and after that we will go into meditation and question answers. So please get ready, and we have Geeta Arora ji ready to read. So I will just give you the audio control. Right, so now you can unmute yourself and start. I will share the
Thank you so much, Shailesh.
So can you read the chapter now?
Yes, and I've got my book also ready. I think it's the same text.
Yeah, it is the same text. Yeah,
Right.
there is no change to in English text. I never touch the text. So
This
whenever
seems
I
to be, yeah.
in the Hindi text, sometimes when I see that it's becoming difficult to understand, I make small changes, but not in the English text. So English text is exactly the same as it is in the original book. So we can start now, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
15th week, receiving guidance for wise activity. You have arrived. Now you are ready to break out of the womb of this course. You are ready to use all the techniques you have developed.
Right. So this is the preface to what we are going to learn today, right? So what he is saying here now is you have arrived. That means now you are where you needed to come. Arrived means you have returned or reached where you needed to reach. This is where you were supposed to reach. And he says that you are ready to break out of the womb of this course. Breaking out of the womb of this course means what? While you were in the womb, that means you were brewing, you needed the total protection and support of the mother. Now you are ready to break out and stand on your own feet. Now you are ready to start living by yourself. So essentially, skills have been provided. However, in your initial time, for sure, you still need the help of the mother to come to a level where you can be totally independent, right? So there will be interdependence initially of the mother. Mother is this book. This is this course, right? So for some more weeks, we will continue to take the help of the book to grow from here into various aspects of our existence. So that's where this particular sentence is important, that we need to now understand that, okay, I have learned enough now that I can start becoming independent now, right? So you are ready to use all the techniques that you have developed. So if you have been working on yourself, working on the techniques, you are now ready to start using them by yourself. And the major one that we have learned in this part of the book is creating manifestation formulas. We can create our own formulas and manifest it. So that's something to be practiced by each one of us to deal with individual desires, right? To take care of our individual desires and manifest them into our real life. So that's where we are now. So okay, yes, please read further.
No longer need you worry about what is the wisest course of action. You know because you are unified with your all knowing intelligence and you can find out anything for the asking.
Right. So we don't have to worry now. We don't have to worry about the wisest course of action now. He's flipping now, right? We don't have to worry. Why? Because now we know that we are unified. So be sure within your own consciousness that I am now unified. And with what am I unified? My own all-knowing intelligence. And anytime I need to know something, I can immediately ask. Right? So that's the confidence with which we have to proceed further. Right. Okay. Please read further.
No longer need you experience loneliness or lack of love. You are unified with your love and attracted to flow through you.
Right? So we don't have to experience loneliness now. This is a beautiful understanding we have to now develop. That now being unified with my own love, with my own self, my higher self. When I'm unified, then I'm not alone, right? I am with my own love, right? And that's what is important, that you are now able to attract love to flow through you. When you are unified, you become love. And when you become love, you become a source and a medium of love, flow of love. And as we have learned in the last chapter, what is love? Love is the life force, right? So you have become a living source of life force. That is what we are now. Yeah. Yeah. Please read.
No longer no longer need you experience pain. You are unified with your perfection and can correct any thinking that brings the experience of pain.
This is very clear, right? We don't need to experience pain anymore. We don't need to. Remember, we don't need to. There's no necessity. However, if you desire to experience pain, you can always do that as well. That's the meaning of this sentence, right? So you could continue with your patterns, your old patterns, and continue to experience pain. That's up to you. But you don't need to experience pain anymore, right? That is a very important thing we are learning here. And you are unified with your own perfection. We learned in the last chapter, right? I am perfect. I was created perfect. I am perfect. And I will always be perfect. And can correct any thinking that brings the experience of pain. I can now I have that ability to be able to correct my thinking. Why? Because I am connected with my all-knowing intelligence now. So I can correct my thinking as and when I detect there is a problem. Yes, please continue further.
No longer need you experience anything but God's qualities. Actually, you never needed to. However, you were buried in a vicious circle of negative, individual thoughts that perpetuated experiences of pain, lack, fear, and failure.
Okay, so we don't need to experience anything but God's qualities now. Now that we know, we are conscious of it, we are aware of it. Now we don't need to experience anything other than God's qualities. However, what he is reminding us is that you were buried in a vicious circle of negative thinking. Vicious, why is he calling it vicious circle? Because when we have negative thoughts, we create negative experiences, and those negative experiences reinforce negative thinking. And that cycle goes on. We continue to see everything in a negative perspective, right? So that's the vicious circle. And now we have learned to break out of it. This is the biggest achievement of this course, being able to break out of that negative cycle. Once you are able to break out of it, then your experiences of pain, lack, fear, and failure, etc., will go away. They will change. Why? Because now you will begin to experience God's qualities. That's the purpose, right? So there we are. Okay, please
This
read.
is not to say that all your days from now on will only be the experience of God's bliss. It is just that no longer need it be anything else. The techniques that you have work in direct proportion to your doing them regularly and carefully. They do work.
Right? So it is up to us. He's leaving the um, authority to us. He says that it's up to you. You can experience anything you want. You don't need to experience anything other than God qualities, but you can, right? It is just that no longer need it be anything else. It doesn't have to be. Right? The techniques that we have learned, they do work, and they give you the experience in proportion to how regularly and carefully you are using them. So the ownership is now back to us. We are responsible. The more regularly and carefully we use the techniques, the better the effect of those techniques we will experience in our life. Okay, yeah.
For a while, you may need to deal with those stubborn thoughts that are out of sync with God's thought that created you. Until they are neutralized and released, they may continue to manifest experiences. Don't let that impede your diligence. Those thoughts may even set up counter thoughts that this course is silly or a waste or ineffective or even evil. Those thoughts appear almost to have a life of their own, and now they are doing everything they can to save their lives. Just observe that process, but don't buy into the negativity. Practice these techniques with innocence, knowing where they will take you.
Right. So this is a very practical suggestion he's making. Very practical. This will happen to everyone who's learning the techniques. We are transitioning from one state to another state. So during the transition, these kind of things will happen. He's talking about what he's calling as stubborn thoughts. Stubborn thoughts means our patterns that we have learned and grown with throughout our life. Those stubborn thoughts which created such of those experiences of suffering, those thoughts are called as stubborn thoughts. They won't go easily, right? What he's saying is those are the thoughts that keep us out of sync with God's thought. So they break us out of God's thought synchronization. So until they are neutralized and released, they will continue to manifest such of those experiences. So we have to, important thing is we have to neutralize them and release them. That is part of the processes we have been doing about, say, all the creating formulas we have learned. That's where we deal with the thoughts, right? Dealing with the thoughts is this part, neutralizing and releasing. And they will continue to manifest in such a case if they have not been released, right? So but don't let that impede your diligence. Our diligence should not stop because of such experiences. Oh, I've been doing it, why do I still continue to have this experience, this suffering? Don't, this thought will come. Is saying you will get counter thoughts. Why should I do this? This course is not doing any good to me. I am still not able to get rid of my problems. That kind of thoughts will come, but do not drop your diligence. You have to continue. By continuing, you are constantly telling or affirming to your mind that no, those things are not acceptable anymore. I want to change them, I want to release them, right? So such of those thoughts will continue to come back. He says those thoughts appear almost to have a life of their own. So those thoughts will fight for their life as if they have an entity, an existence. So those thoughts will not, that's why he's calling it them stubborn. They will not go easily. Right? Just observe that process, but don't buy into the negativity. Those thoughts are going to say, oh, this course is useless. It doesn't do anything to me. These thoughts will come, and that's a very real thing. It's a practical thing. But just observe that. Just observe what changes have I been. Look at the positive side of what you have done so far. It doesn't matter how small it is. If there is a shift, if there is a change you are experiencing, focus and be aware of that instead of being bringing your awareness to what hasn't happened even though you wanted it to. Okay, so awareness should be on what, how much have you achieved. It doesn't matter, even if it's small, it is an achievement. Be confident of your own achievement, right? Practice these techniques with innocence, knowing that they will take you where they will take you. So always keep your eyes on the destination. These techniques you are doing for a reason, for a purpose. What is the destination? I am going to be unified. That is the destination. I am heading into that direction where I will be unified with myself. I will know myself completely and fully. That is the ultimate destination we are heading towards. And these techniques are meant to help us go there. So this thought should always be there in your mind. Well, I know why I am doing this. I know the ultimate purpose of my doing it and ultimate destination where I have to reach. That reminder will keep you motivated to remain practicing what we are learning here. Okay, please read.
Your quiet periods are your quiet periods now are free for you to receive whatever guidance you want. Your higher self is yours. It is you. Your whole self is now available for any help you need in fulfilling your purpose in life.
This is very, very important to remember. This is only a reminder. We already know about it, right? So, in this paragraph, what he is doing is he is now bringing that differentiation we had created between higher self and lower self. He's trying to close the gap here. He's bringing it back now that we have gone through the experiences and understood several things, we can now comfortably return back to being unified, right? What he's saying is you are free. The Your quiet periods are now free for you to receive. So what he's saying is, till now we had been defining practices to be done during quiet periods, right? Specific practices for each week. Now he's saying they are free for you. Now you can practice whatever you want during the quiet periods. Your higher self is yours. That period is yours. Your higher self is yours. It is you. That's the most important. When he says it is you, he is reminding that remember, we had deliberately made a distinction, higher self and lower self, for convenience of training and educating the mind, because mind understands that way. So we did that. But now, in our knowing, we have to remember actually that is not separate. And we can very well understand that. Actually, it is just me. I am my higher self. So your whole self is now available. Now he's calling it the whole self, the unified self, right? That whole self is available for my help whenever I need in fulfilling the purpose of life. This is the important part that has been introduced here. Fulfilling your purpose in life. Why have I taken this body? Why have I come into this world? Right? That purpose. And for fulfilling that purpose, all the help is now available to me from within. Now, because I know that I am my own higher self. So, with that understanding or that realization, I can now figure out, why am I here? What am I doing on earth? What is the purpose? That purpose, you can then, once you know, then you can fulfill the purpose, right? You can manifest whatever that purpose comes out to be. You can manifest that purpose to be fulfilled in your life. That's the power of this whole learning so far. Okay. Yes, please. Please read. Here.
That is the key now to all your communication with your higher self, fulfilling your purpose in life. That is really all you are interested in if you think about it.
Yeah. So what he's saying is, just think about it. What ultimately am I doing with my higher self? I am basically, now, once again, I will bring to your awareness this understanding little more clearly now. Whatever we are communicating with the higher self, right? Now he says that you can understand each week what we were doing. We were doing everything which helps us move towards the purpose that we are here for. My purpose in life, I am moving step by step in that direction only, right? Previous so many weeks. And our communication with the higher self means what? That is, I want to now give you my understanding. All the communication that you have with your higher self, you've had so far also, is basically in terms of thoughts. You put a thought to higher self and the higher self returns a thought. It's all in the mind. So what you are doing essentially, what you are doing is you are training your mind to organize itself, the thoughts, in a way that you direct it to. So you are basically educating your mind, training it to behave in a certain way, which makes it easier for you to manifest things, for you to be clear about what, even that thought of, what do I even manifest? What is it that I need to manifest? And that you will know from where? By knowing the purpose of life. Once you know what is the purpose of my life, then you will begin to manifest things towards that goal. Right? That is what he's talking about. Now he is going to clarify here, down here, further about the purpose of life. Yes, please read further.
What is your purpose in life? First, your highest purpose is to return to being unified. Return to the state of knowing who and what you are in truth, and return to the experiences of God's qualities. That is your primary purpose, and for that, your higher self has always prodded and guided you. It stands ready now to communicate anything you want to know for that return. Information will be fed to you during your daily quiet periods. Questions on your highest activity will always be answered by either using the yes or no signals or by direct communication.
Right. So this here now he is explaining what is the purpose in life. Right? And he says, what is your purpose in life? So he's now saying the primary purpose of each one of us. This applies to all of us. The primary purpose is to return to the state of knowing who and what you are in truth. These are important. Every word is important, right? Who and what you are in truth. In truth is the The truth is written with a capital T, the truth. Okay, so who am I and what am I? That knowing that we have to remain in the state of knowing. So all the time as I am existing, my knowing should always remember who and what am I, and then return to the experiences of God's qualities. By doing that, I can very easily return to the experiences of God quality. Now, that is the primary purpose of each one of us, to return to the God's qualities. Okay. Now, um, in this, in achievement of this purpose, our higher self has always helped us. It has always encouraged, inspired. It's given us indications, clues in that direction only, always, always. It has already done. And even now, it stands ready for that. It's constantly helping us. Um, so you can communicate anything you want to know in that direction for that return. The return word here is important. Return means what? You were, once you were in that spot, you moved away, and now you are returning back to that spot. That is the meaning of the word return. So you return to your original state, and that is the state of knowing who you are, what you are, and then remaining with that knowing, remaining in that state. Right? That is the word, the meaning of word return here is very important. We don't have to think that we were never there. We were always there, and then drifted away to experience things in life, experience something different. And now we are beginning to return back to that original state, right? And information now, this is where the clarity comes here about information will be fed to you during your daily quiet periods. Now that we are becoming aware of our communication with higher self is our own wisdom. So when we are becoming clear of our own wisdom, clear about listening to our wisdom or communicating with our own wisdom, questioning things with the wisdom, then what are we going to do? Quiet periods are going to be very important periods for us. Anytime and every time you can go into a quiet period and start the communication, right? Questions on your highest activity will always be answered by either using yes and no signals, which we now know, or by direct communication. You can get answers to your questions either yes and no, or by direct communication. So if, say for example, you put your question and you receive a direct answer from there, that is another way in which you can expect to hear from your higher self now. Okay, so this communication will be pretty comprehensive now as you become more and more aware and conscious of communications with higher self. That means you are able to distinguish between chatter of the mind and the communication of your higher self. These are two separate things that go on in the mind, and they are sort of intermingled in the stream of thought. And in that stream of thought, you are able to distinguish between the mental chatter and the thoughts coming from the higher self. That level of communication, that clarity, when established, you can then live in complete alignment. So he says that communication will happen now in both ways, yes and no, or direct communication, like message. Okay, please read.
You also have a secondary purpose, and for everyone, it is different. That is your daily activity concerned with living. Some call it dharma. It is any activity that makes it easiest for you to realize your primary purpose. Your work, your love life, your recreation, your studies, and your hobbies are all for the purpose of returning you to being unified. On these activities, your higher self is also eager to guide and complete your knowledge.
Right. So this is our secondary purpose in life, which is different for each one of us. So for primary purpose is common to all. Secondary purpose is different for each one of us. And what it does is it helps us move in the direction of the primary purpose. The secondary purpose helps us move in the direction of the primary purpose. So this is the secondary purpose is now helping us understand the uniqueness of each one of us. Each one of us is unique. So our secondary purpose is unique to us. There are several ways in which we can achieve the primary purpose, is what he is explaining. As long as we know the primary purpose, we can do it in our own way. Each one of us can do it in our own way. And then he says, very important thing here is, this is your daily activity concerning with living. What is the secondary purpose? Daily activity that you do for your living. That activity helps you go in that direction if you are living in awareness. Very important. The hidden message is if you are living in awareness. Now, some call it dharma, right? It is any activity that makes it easiest for you to realize your primary purpose. So there are several activities you do in a day. There are some activities that make it so much easy for you to move in the direction of your primary purpose. And some are, they make it very difficult. You don't even enjoy them, right? So your work, your love life, your recreation, your studies and your hobbies are all for the purpose of returning you to being unified, the primary purpose, right? So all these activities, your work, whatever profession you are in, and being a homemaker is also a profession. Don't forget that. So never underestimate what you do on a day to day. If you are a homemaker, everything that you do as a homemaker is taking you in the direction of your primary purpose, which is being unified. So now start looking at everything that you do with this perspective in mind. That if I am cooking for my family, this activity is helping me go in the direction of my primary purpose of being unified. Now, once you start being aware of your day-to-day activities in this manner, that these activities are adding to my growth in the direction of my primary purpose, then your awareness is going to help you to get the best out of that activity. Whatever experience that you would have when you are living in God qualities. Right? So, say for example, you don't like doing dishes. Right? You don't like doing dishes. And now, when you go in front of that sink and want to do your dishes, go with that thought that this activity that I am going to perform will help me being unified. When you go with that context and start working there, you will come back into the present moment. And that's when you perform that action actually will begin to give you joy and peace. You will begin to find love in every one of those things. And let's say I can give you this example from my own life. When my wife was there, I was able to sense that she didn't like doing dishes. And we have a dishwasher, so our doing dishes meant was putting the dishes into the dishwasher, rinsing the dishes and putting them in the dishwasher. That was the action which she actually didn't enjoy. But what we started doing was, once we were done with our dinner, we would come to the sink together, me and my wife, and We would continue our dining table discussion over to the sink. We continued the discussion. While discussing, we had a defined role. My job was to rinse the dishes and hand over to her. Her job was to put them in the dishwasher in the fashion in which she felt that the dishwasher performs the best. Okay, so our discussions continued. We filled the dishwasher and switched it on to make it ready for the next day. And we never realized that we have performed the task already done. Why? Because we were still connected, we were still discussing, we were still enjoying the conversation, and in that mode, we completed the tasks. And this was a routine for us. And understand how our daily activities can still be converted to a enjoyable experience, right? The activity is still the same. She could always say, well, you do the dishes. I could say, no, you do the dishes. We could always do that. But we adopted a process whereby both of us didn't have to feel the burden. So similarly, you also can think about all the things you do in a day. Each one of those things helps us grow in only one direction. If we are aware that, yes, this is going to help me, I'm enjoying it. Your enjoyment is what is actually adding to your connection with yourself. So your hobbies, things that you like, gardening, you like to do gardening, go and do it. You like to paint, do the painting, do the artwork, whatever you like. Any creative activity will bring you that enjoyment. So associate with such of those things. But the perspective is where it is important. With what mindset are you approaching the work? That is what makes the difference. The work still remains the same. It's not different. Okay, please read further.
Today and in your quiet periods from now on, you are to have two sections. First, just be receptive. Receive. Any knowledge that is wise for you to have will come at that time. Second, you may ask for guidance on any subject, but for each subject, always begin with, is it in my highest and wisest interest to ask about subject?
Right. So now he is saying today and now on, what will be the structure of your quiet periods? Quiet periods will be divided in two parts. The initial um, part of the quiet period, as we have been practicing, we know, right? What are the steps to get into a quiet period till we arrive at a place where we have the signal of the higher self. Now we are connected with higher self. After that, there are two sections to our communication part of the quiet period. One's first section is sit quietly. Just sit quietly and allow the communication to come from the higher self, right? What does this mean? I am in listening mode. I am actively listening. I'm not sleeping. I'm actively listening to what the higher self wants to communicate with me. That is the time maximum wisdom will come. Maximum, most important knowledge that is necessary at this point in time for me comes during that time. So being alert and actively listening helps you distinguish the chatter versus the real knowledge coming from the higher self. You will be easily able to distinguish if you are listening. And that is the most difficult thing for most of us. We haven't learned to listen. We only want to say things, we want to talk, but we don't listen. Active listening is the most important characteristic that humans have. If they can develop this, their growth cannot be stopped. Right? So active listening is the first part. If you develop this ability, you will have nothing but benefits from it. And the second thing is, then you can ask your questions. Now it will be, once you have done with that active listening part, then the second part of your quiet period will be asking questions, right? Asking questions again is a very skilled activity. That will not be just asking any questions, right? So that asking questions, I will talk about it slightly later. But what he is saying is that second part should always be started with this standard question: is it in my highest and wisest interest to ask about this question, whatever that subject is? Say, for example, you want to learn something about um, um, practicing music. You want to learn about practicing music. I haven't learned music, but I want to now learn music. How do I practice? You have that going on in your mind. So related to that, you have a question that you are asking your higher self. Now, before you ask the question, first question should be, is it in my highest and wisest interest to ask about learning music? That question will tell you, well, at this point in time, in your current situation, is it really wise for you to devote your awareness towards learning music or not? Right? Follow the guidance. If the We will talk about further. So what do you do with the answers that you receive? Yes, Geeta ji.
If the answer is no, you may want to find out why. Maybe it is because you already know the answer. Maybe it is something you need to work out further without any additional knowledge. Possibly it is simply an illusion you are sorry. Probably it is simply an illusion you are dealing with. Explaining a no can be very enlightening.
Right? So if the answer is no, there are three possibilities he's talking about. Maybe it is because you already know the answer, right? You already know that I shouldn't be doing this, but you're still asking the higher self. So higher self is simply validating your answer, saying no, right? Or the answer could be no, that at this point in time you are not ready for it. You may need to do some more due diligence before you um, attempt to get into that subject. So, say for example about music, I need to do some more study within me, or learn from wherever I want to learn about learning music, and then figure out for myself, do I really want to do that? That's why the answer is no, that you do some more work on this aspect before you deal with this subject or attempt to get into this subject. And the third thing is talking, possibly it is simply an illusion you are dealing with. You have some kind of illusion. Oh, I am a very good singer. Or music is going to be very good professional career for me. Some kind of illusion you have in your mind. And with that illusion, you are asking, okay, let me validate this, whether I should actually attempt to go in this direction or not. So the higher self will be able to tell you, irrespective of what you are thinking. If you have an illusion, higher self is saying no. Maybe you need to now, the second part, when you want to get additional knowledge, you may be able to get rid of such illusions as well. I have done this thing all the time. I suddenly feel very passionate about doing something, and then I start doing it and then leave it in between. Then that sort of experience I've had several times in my life. That was because I was not working with my higher self. If I had checked with my higher self, should I actually be doing it? Higher self would have said no. Why? Because within a few days I lose interest in that. That's what we will be able to avoid such of those scenarios. Right? So that I had illusion that, oh yeah, it can be done just like that. In my mind I had that illusion, and when I actually started doing it, I I came across problems that I encountered um, opposition in several ways. And then finally I dropped it. I was not interested in jumping over those barriers. So I dropped it. That's what was happening several times. Nowadays, ever since I am kind of doing this debate in my head, well, I need to rethink this thing. I'm actually working on my illusion. And then once I break out of it, I have the direction from within. Well, okay, may not be necessary. And that has changed my life experience. Not only my life experience, also the my awareness is now so open that I am not spending time on such of those things which used to be my time wasters earlier. So I'm more focused. I'm more aligned with where where am I supposed to actually go? What is my life purpose? What is taking me in the direction of my life purpose? Right? So that is what is happening. So learning about the or investigating that no answer from higher self could be very enlightening. It gives you more knowledge about yourself, right? Knowing yourself is the primary purpose, and this know will help you know yourself better. Okay, what happens within me? All right, so let's go further.
If the answer is yes, find out if your higher self wants to communicate the answer directly to you or whether you should ask more yes or no questions. Usually, your higher self will let you determine which route you want to take.
Right. So higher, once you get a yes answer, then you need to investigate further, right? When you have asked a question, should I be talking about learning music? And if the higher self says yes, then now I have to get more clarity. Okay, if this is what it is, then let me figure out how will I do it. So for that further questions, you can always ask your higher self whether I should ask you more yes or no questions, or should I work with you with direct communication, straightforward communication, just like you would do with another person. So usually higher self will let you make the choice. Higher self will allow you to, okay, whichever way you are comfortable, follow that process. If you want to ask yes or no questions, ask those questions. If you want to have direct communication, okay, that way is also okay for me, right? So both those things. Now, a practical tip is, when you start communicating with your higher self, practicing this thing, becoming more aware of that communication, initially yes and no questions are easy, because you are already conversant with a yes and a no in a very confident way. So asking those questions, you will have a very clear, confident answer. If you have not practiced direct communication yet, what will happen is the answer, you will not be confident whether this is my higher self or is it my chatter, mental chatter, right? That confusion could be there. So initially, while you are building this relationship with higher self, yes and no is an easier way. You will feel, you will be able to feel confident, not only confident but also manifest those things. You will be able to actually achieve things, right? So this is something I'm telling from my practical experience. Okay, yes, please read further.
Always preface each substantive question with, is it in my highest and wisest interest to state your desire or possible course of action?
Right. So once you have had this yes from the higher self, always preface each substantive question. Substantive question means like, okay, if I have to learn music, should I join an academy or should I hire a tutor? These are bigger questions, right? To get answers for such a thing, he says, is it in my, use this format, is it in my highest and wisest interest to join a music school, right? That way you can start. That way, yes and no questions will be able to help you make a right choice. Yes, please read further.
If your answer to a question seems strange, check to see if your aura has an uninvited influence that always clouds your answers, which may be hard to perceive or may be downright wrong. Shailesh sir, I just want to ask you, is this right? If your answer, or is it if the answer to a question? Because
Yeah,
here
he
answer
say
coming from a,
when he says if your answer to a question seems strange, your answer, he's saying uh, the answer that you received. That's the meaning of it here.
it has to be the, na? Because the answer will be from higher self, na? If the
Yes.
answer to a question seems strange,
Hmm.
check to see if
Yeah.
your aura has.
Yeah, this is
Right.
just a style of speaking. Yeah. This is
Right.
Roger's way of saying things. The American style, you can say. Uh, these are the things which I just learn through practice. When you listen to people, you hear all versions of expressing, and then your mind. To me, this didn't seem odd because I read in continuation, right? So it didn't seem odd. Now we are breaking it apart, so we are reading separately. Maybe this will seem strange, yeah. But yes, you are right. It is about if the answer to a question seems strange, check to see if your aura has an uninvited influence. So if the answer is strange, which seems like this doesn't seem normal, then better be careful. What he's saying is check to see if my aura is clean or not. You remember, this is happening during a quiet period when you should be having a higher self signal on, right? That higher self's presence is felt by you through the signal. And while you are lost in communication, you may lose your alert and you start receiving strange answers. That could be possible because of an uninvited influence having come into your aura, and that would interfere with your communication, right? That always clouds your answers, which may be hard to perceive or maybe downright wrong. Those answers could be absolutely wrong. So he's alerting us that while you are communicating, don't get lost. Be on the alert, be in full awareness. Remember to keep checking your higher self signal all the time. Okay? Yes, please read further. Here. You are muted, Geeta ji. Yeah.
If your answer to a question is no, it may mean no. It isn't wise for you to have an answer to that particular question. That is an untrue no. To find out, ask, is that a true no?
Right. So when you receive a no answer, this is one more thing he says. It may mean, so when you receive a no, it may mean no, it isn't wise for you to have an answer to that question. Right. So this is not the primary no. This is when you are now communicating and asking things, in between you receive a no. Whenever that no comes, that is, you have to confirm whether this is really a no or is it an untrue no. Is this, are you sure, kind of thing. When the answer you receive says no, you have to then check, are you sure, is this a no, right? Make sure when you do that, at least you have a clarity within you that yes, I am now confirmed with the answer, right? Is that a true no? That one you will know, right? So always confirm. When you receive a no, confirm. Why all these confirmations with no? Why not with yes? Why? Because when a no comes, you have to stop. When a yes comes, you have further questions to investigate, right? That's why. So with a yes, you can proceed further. Why? Because if something has to change in your subsequent questioning, that will change. But when there is a no, you are actually stopping that branch of your questioning. And when you stop at that branch of your questioning, then you have to make sure whether this is a true no or not. Right? So whenever there is a no, you have to be more careful, because that will open up more knowledge for you. A yes will take you deeper into other aspects of that, but a no will tell you more about yourself. Okay, so that's something very important here. Yeah, please read further.
Also, remember that your questions are taken literally. What you say must be what you mean. Carefully choose your words. Always think about any double meaning you might accidentally be putting into your sentence structure.
Yeah, so this is very simple to understand. Be very specific and clear about what you are discussing. Questions, right? The questions that you ask with your higher self are taken literally. The wording is taken literally, right? You can't be, saying something like a satire, right? Meaning something else and saying something else. The higher self will not understand the hidden meaning. It is very direct communication. So with your higher self, be very direct, straightforward, clear, specific questions. Right? This may require for you to for us to be much more diligent in preparing for the quiet period discussion. So before you get into your quiet period, prepare your questions initially. Write down your questions and make sure that they are specific. They don't have wordings that could mean something else without um, you know creating more confusion, I would say. Right? So uh, the easy I how I see it is, I when I have a question, I ask myself that question. Say, well, okay, if somebody asks me this question, what would I say? Right? If somebody asks me, let's say, a question, do you have money in your wallet? Right? My answer to the question could be yes and no. Right? If the person says, the objective of the person is he wants to buy an ice cream and he's asking me, do you have money in your wallet? I can always say, yes, I have money in my wallet. So I the answer is yes, but when the person says, okay, give me $5, I may not have $5 in my purse. I may have $3. But my answer to the question was yes, because I had money. $3 is also money. But the purpose that for which it was being asked could not be fulfilled. Right? So if the question would have been, do you have money in your wallet for me to buy an ice cream? Then I could very easily say no. Okay, so our questions need to be specific and clear. And also, maybe at the end I will say more. Okay, please continue. So hopefully something will come up here. Yeah.
When you ask about the highest and wisest course of action, know that a yes may not preclude the exact opposite action. It can be in your highest and wisest interest to change jobs. At the same time, it might be in your highest and wisest interest not to change jobs. You will not receive an answer to which is the highest and wisest. You will only be guided within a broad framework because you always have a wide range of choices, any of which would be perfect for you.
Right. So this could be slightly confusing, right? When you receive an answer yes to one of the choices, it doesn't mean that the answer to the opposite choice will be a no. Right? answer to the opposite choice could also be yes. So you have this possibility of changing the job or not changing the job. Two very opposite things, right? And the answer to both these questions could be a yes, that both of them are in your wisest and highest interest. For both of them, the answer could be yes. So if you continue with your current job also is in your highest and wisest interest, and to change the job is also in your highest and wisest interest. Why? Because in both the choices, the direction you are taking is for your own alignment with your primary purpose in life, right? Now what he's here trying to explain to us here is that you will not be given a specific answer for the choice, right? Higher self will not make the choice for you. Which of them is the highest and wisest will not be answered. Remember this. Higher self will not make decisions on your behalf. So you can't ask the higher self to make decisions for you. Let me put it this way. Say you are now looking at options for changing your job. You have three possibilities. You went through the job market or whatever listings and you find three jobs that where you will be able to confidently apply for. Now you have three of them. When you sit down and talk to your higher self about it, you could ask a question, well, which of these three jobs is in my highest and wisest interest? Higher self will not answer this question. You will have to ask for each individual job specifically. Well, this job number one is such and such. Is it in my highest and wisest interest to apply for this job? You can get a yes and no, right? Understand that decision is not being made by higher self here. In the first question, you are asking for a decision. Where should I apply? Right? Higher self will not make that decision for you. Remember that. This is a very important distinction. In preparing for the questions, you have to remember this aspect very well. Right? You will only be guided within a broad framework. Broad framework means like the do why he's calling it broad framework is because in my human understanding, in my mental limitations, I may not be able to see all possibilities which higher self is able to see. So higher self's guidance can point me to possibilities beyond my comprehension. This you will notice several times. In when you practice this, you will notice several times, oh my God, I had not thought of this thing at all, and this is what I'm doing now. And you are enjoying, you will enjoy it more, you will benefit more from picking such of those choices which you had not even thought of. That sort of a thing will happen many a times. Yes.
Your free will is not tampered with. This is because at this delicate stage, while you think of your higher self as separate, you must keep exercising that free will. Your higher self will not allow your free will to become dormant. There are any number of spirits that would love to usurp your free will and take over every aspect of your life. That's why you must always use the safeguards during your quiet period.
Yeah. So one more protection thing, he's giving a very good advice here, that your free will never be compromised by higher self. Right? So when you find a message that is giving you a direction, become alert. Higher self will never give you directions. So if you are receiving direction during a communication, become alert about it. Why? Because there are so many spirits that want to take over your free will. They want to capture your free will and Through that, they will capture you to do things on their behalf, right? So, protection is of utmost importance. What are the thoughts that you are following? Are they really coming from my higher self? And these kind of things are very specific indicators of someone else other than higher self. Someone else who is interested in capturing your free will, making decisions on your behalf. That is called capturing your free will. And you have given them permission to do so through this communication by not being aware. So remember this thing. Always safeguards during the quiet period are of utmost importance. And the moment you see such a thing, right, you should become alert. Well, somebody is making decisions on my behalf. Why? I will make my own decisions. I will apply my own free will to any decision making point in my life, right? That is what he's saying. So this is a very important clue to our communication. Okay, yes, please. Yes.
These quiet periods are the key to using your creating formula. You may now use the formula for any desire provided. Your higher self has confirmed during a quiet period that the desire is in your highest and wisest interest, and your higher self has revealed the thoughts you have that stand in the way of that desire. If you have any doubts or questions about the creating formula, clear them up with your higher self during a quiet period.
Right. So now basically he is summarizing what we have learned so far in this chapter, that your quiet periods are the key now to creating, or whenever you want to create a formula for manifestation, these quiet periods will be the key, right? And what you can do, you may now use the formula for any desire, right? Formula, now you have a desire, you want to create a formula, you can use the formula provided two conditions are there. First condition is your higher self has confirmed during your quiet period that desire is in your highest and wisest interest. So in your quiet period, you have already dealt with this question whether this particular desire is in my highest and wisest interest, right? So this higher self has said yes, right? Then your formula is allowed. Second important thing to be met, the precondition, is your higher self has revealed the thoughts you have that stand in the way of that desire. So your higher self has also told you what will obstruct fulfillment of this desire. Manifestation of this desire will be prevented by such of these thoughts that you have. That clarity also you should have, right? So these two preconditions are very important for any creating formula going forward, right? So whenever you are doing a creating formula, make sure that condition number one is taken care of, condition number two is taken care of, and both these happen during quiet periods. Both of them will happen during quiet period. So what basically I am understanding from here is that I have to properly plan my quiet periods with an objective in mind, right? Preparing your questions in such a way that these two things are taken care of in the quiet period. So supposing I have a desire for learning music, let's say, okay, and in my quiet period, I have to be ready now. First question will be to ask whether this is in my highest and wisest interest to go forward with learning music. The second condition will be required only when the first is said yes. So when I'm writing down my questions, I have to make sure that my questions are ready only for a yes answer. For no answer, there will be different questions to investigate the no, right? For a yes answer, I will have to then ask the second thing is to be clear. Higher self should reveal to me the thoughts that I have that stand in the way of learning music. What thoughts do I have? Is my throat not good enough? Is my breathing not good enough? Those kind of thoughts are there, which may prevent me from learning music, right? So, if you have any doubts or questions about the creating formula, clear them up with your higher self. So, if you have a doubt, maybe you have a separate quiet period session with the higher self to clear those doubts. Okay, during the quiet period, you can do that. So, that's now basically what he's saying is you have all the ability to do these things by yourself. Okay, please read further.
Know that once you have set the formula, it starts to manifest. Almighty nature has started to muster all its forces to bring you the experience you desire and believe will happen. Continue, however, to fuel the manifestation daily with creating formulas until your experience comes up about. Sometimes those nasty individual thoughts are stubborn and need to be burned off more gradually.
Right. So basically now we can confidently create the formula, and once you have said, when you have said the formula, you have repeated the formula for yourself, it starts to manifest. Once you speak it out, it starts to manifest. Almighty nature will start to muster all its forces to bring you the experience you desire. And you believe that you start believing that it will happen. Trust that when I have said my formula, universe is functioning on the starting to act on it, and it will happen. Okay. Now continue, however, to fuel the manifestation daily. Now, in order to for manifestation to actually happen, you will have to fuel it every day. Inject more, reinforce more and more with your formula, right? That should be your intention, that okay, I am making it stronger every day. I am making it stronger. um, when will you be able to do that? When you actually trust your formula. If you have doubt, what will happen? You will get a thought, oh, maybe that formula doesn't work, let me create another one. That will interfere with your first formula. Okay, why sometimes those nasty individual thoughts are stubborn, and need to be burned off more gradually. Why is that manifestation not happening? Is because of such of those thoughts which are stubborn. That is the reason why there is a delay in manifestation. Knowing this is important, right? It's not that the formula is wrong. Formula has gotten into activation already, it's active. But my thoughts are preventing manifestation. So there are some stubborn thoughts within me that still need to be worked on. When I have removed or released such of those thoughts, manifestation will right away, it will happen. That's what he's saying, right? So be aware, becoming aware that okay, my if my opposing thoughts are taken care of, manifestation will happen right away. If my thoughts are blocking, then manifestation will not happen till such time I have dealt with such of those stubborn thoughts. Okay, and stubborn thoughts take a long time, sometimes several years, to be released. I This is my personal experience, and some of you would already be dealing with such things, right? So yeah, please read last paragraph.
After all, you have had thoughts of lack of money or lack of love or poor health or whatever for a long time. These thoughts need to be changed. Each time you say the creating formula and deal with them, you are closer to getting the experience. Something happens each time.
Yeah. So he says gradually you are moving in the direction of manifestation, right? Your creating formula will become more and more active as you continue to release some of these thoughts of lack. These are limiting beliefs. We have to get rid of them one by one, right? once all of them are taken care of, things will happen. Right? So each time you release one, you have climbed the stairs one more step, and ultimately you reach the top. Right? So that's what this is. So these thoughts we have had forever. We've always had it for a long, long time. Now it is time to get rid of them. Lack of money, lack of love, or poor health, these, as we know from our previous chapters knowledge, these are our fantasies. These are not real. So we have created these experiences. Now it is time for us to, we have experienced it, now it's time for us to release such of those fantasies, right? And return back to the self, which is our primary goal in life, primary purpose. So something happens each time. This is a very reassuring thought. Every time I am releasing something, I am moving one step forward. Every time I'm releasing, I'm moving one step forward. Okay? Releasing basically is, think of yourself like you are bound by thousand strings to a pole. So every time you release, you cut off one string, you are moving in the direction of freedom. Once you have cut off all these strings, you are completely free. So these stubborn thoughts are like those strings which hold on to you, which don't let you move forward. This is my understanding of the chapter. So thank you, Geeta ji, for reading through these things patiently with me, and I hope I am able to get the explanation across to all of you properly. So if any of you have questions, you can ask. Otherwise,
Thank
we
you,
can.
sir. Thank you for this opportunity. But I'm the first one with the question.
Hmm.
Uh, if we are just going for those quiet sessions in which we are just being receptive, so that is one mode which will not require us to prepare. The second type is when we have to ask a question. So before asking about that subject, first of all, we ask. huh? So I think being in receptive mode, that would be the easiest. That is the easiest option here. No, true. Then, secondly, in that part where we have to ask about yes, and then even get enlightened about why a no has come. So, I think we will require multiple sessions. All this exercise cannot be done in one session, is what I understand.
It will depend on what you are dealing with at that time, right? It could, if there is a complex thing you are dealing with, yes, it could take multiple sessions. But my the way I work with it, to me, my quiet period, the first part of the quiet period where I am listening, is the most important part, and I continue that because that listening sets the perspective for subsequent discussion. You may have prepared your questions first, and remember, when you are preparing your questions, your higher self knows. Your higher self already knows what you are going to ask. Why? Because you are writing the questions. You know the questions. Higher self knows the question. So, when your questions are prepared, that means your second part of the session, where you will be discussing, is already active. So, before that, when you sit down and listen to higher self, you may already receive answers to some of those questions, or a wider perspective relevant to that discussion that you may already receive. So, basically, it will be like preparing the soil for planting a seed. So, that initial listening sets the basis for subsequent discussion, right? And that, my suggestion would be, do it together, at least the first round, do it together, so that you have a continuity of thought. Okay, and then further clarifications, if you want to have, you can do more sessions separately. Well, okay, I now want to know more about it. I want to learn this specific thing about it. That will become a second set of questions, right? But in every quiet period, my suggestion is every quiet period, first part should always be listening. Give it maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes max. That's it. Not a long time. When it begins to flow, you will yourself know when to stop and start asking questions. That's what my experience is.
Because if I understand it right, that there may be some knowledge that we may receive that is just good for us. I mean, that may not lead to any questions unless I am really in an argumentative mode. Because if I'm being told that in other some circumstances one can remain calm, all it requires is some patience, something. So
Yes,
there is absolutely no question attached with that. So I receive that knowledge and I understand that my higher self is giving me this knowledge
yes.
because probably this is what is required at the moment.
Uh,
During
Correct.
that period, I need to remain calm and I'm losing my calm. Probably that knowledge might have come because of that reason only.
Mhm.
So if I see it right, there cannot be any questions about that. I agree that yes, remaining calm would solve.
I think this is very hypothetical for now. Unless there is a specific thing, we cannot decide either way, right? So hypothetically, we can assume anything. But in my mind, quiet period is an essential in or first part of the quiet period is very essential for every quiet period. First, sit and listen, and that will set the stage for subsequent discussion.
And many a times it doesn't go for long. You want to, comprehend what you have received. So as they say, the answer would be something that you do not know. There won't be any answer if you know things, right? There's a condition on no that you already know it. So you won't get the answer. But the answer that you will get, you will stuck and you will think about it. So the easiest way what I have found, like suppose you went in a quiet period and you wrote 5, 10 lines in that quiet periods. Take one line and just check with yes and no. Is it correct or not? And then further, can I get more clarity on this? So that way you have a systematic few paragraph, like a paragraph there, and every line you can confirm. So it is in this chapter itself, we are going to practice in our own quiet periods because our own um, interests are different, right? So it is highly recommended that we go and sit at because it's a deeper connection, understanding on a topic. So we have to do it thoroughly within and not like a high jump, just a little by little every day.
And
Thank you, Priti. Thank you.
yeah. Also, sometimes I may have questions, just curiosity of mine could lead me to pick up a topic which may not be relevant at this point in time in my life. Okay, it may be a good topic, but not relevant right now in my life. There are other pressing things that I need to devote my focus on. Then that initial listening period will actually give me the right direction. So if I ask a question at that time, I will already know that I am going to receive a no. Right? That's what happens. This is my personal, all I'm talking from experience only. This is
I
what I
mean,
find.
yeah, the model Gita ji is saying that, be receptive and receive and then have the communication. So when you thinking that you are receptive, you are receiving, write down those lines and then check with yes and no. So it will help you practice your signal also. And there will be lines that it is yeah, it is a yes, it is a no-brainer.
Yes.
Still you go and check the yes and no. So that is just like a practice. I think to me, that is what I do. So I write what I want to, and then I check if it is correct or not. If you have attended last few Hindi sessions where there is a line, right? Give me some clarity on my life purpose. So there, after that, I said few lines. Though I don't remember now. but I received those lines, and then I will check if it is correct or not. So there is a line after that. Is it a yes or is it a no? So we are doing a little bit of that practice here. It's a beautiful reading and explanation today. It's very extensive, and it is totally on us how we take it, because our free will is our gift and we want to nourish it with our higher self, right? So all that we have been doing so far, doubting on us, putting us in insecurity and fear, anxiety, that blocked our heart. All that we did in part 2 so far, living in the flow, knowing true desire, establishing ourselves by self acceptance, connecting with that all knowing intelligence, I'm always guided. Now I'm going to check my activity is wise or not. Yes, it is spontaneous. I am getting the right and action without a question. But then again, am I in illusion? Am I in any other kind of doubt? I want to double check that. So it is like establishing a deeper connection. Every quiet period is a meeting time and the agenda is set. So take an agenda, any subject, any desire. Is it a right time to talk about it? Is it in my highest and wisest interest? So my meeting is with my higher self. Agenda is this, and the time is set. Now let's start. And the higher self is always there to encourage you. So it will say, okay, yes, let's start. And when there is a yes, go on asking. Understand if learning swimming is good, then learning cooking is also good. Not learning swimming is also good. So it is not taking our free will and forcing upon things. Many times in our quiet periods also, if it is too long, we disconnect with our higher self because some uninvited influences are there. Then the communication goes in some other direction. So check and come back and then restart or take a break. So there are a few precautions that what we have learned so far, how can we make it extensive with more clarity and use our quiet period to, have a day-long thought, inner conversation, come here and in 20, 30 minutes, let us sort it out. So that is what it is. And every time the beauty of creating formula, we have listened from Shailesh many times that it is a structured thought. But what he is saying here, that every time you create a formula, you deal with your negative thoughts. That doesn't let things happen in your life. And every time we say that, okay, I heal myself, I release this thought and I bring this thought, now I accept and embrace. So that is how we are reprogramming ourselves silently. So that is the power of the creating formula is revealing now. He is giving us full freedom to create your own. And everything that you have been doing in life so far is aligning your life purpose. It is for you to become unified. So just see what you are doing. Are you using your true self? You're activating your true self, your true qualities. So so far we all have been living life, although achieving something has been our great interest, like we become independent, you study, you get job, settle down and all that. Very less importance was given to our interests, hobbies, entertainment, and it was an illusion. So we are continuing to do that, but at the state where, what we have changed, our perspective. We are in awareness, checking every moment, every person, what it brings to me, every activity, what it brings to me. Sometimes, yes, it feels a lot that, okay, I'm not currently aligned. And then I have to realign myself many a times. But that is a fun part. We can do it if we want 5 times a day. Or maybe just in a bedtime, some things are flowing in my eyes that this is what happened today and this is how I reacted. Let it bring it in, harmony. So just give love and light to the situation and then reconcile yourself in that moment. So bedtime practice, again, it is reminded. So it's that important. So it will continue with us throughout the life, and it will, enhance the quality of life we will be living, the experiences of life. It is already reflecting in week 14 itself. Babaji is reminding. So you must be noticing your life quality has changed so much. And here he's saying that if you are still having such experiences, don't be disheartened. There are few thoughts that we have been carrying for long, and it takes little time to sort it out. So just work with it, go patiently, and then until you have those such thoughts, your experiences will be such. But the more you work with your creating formula, you will get better quality, good life experiences. So just patiently, let us all continue. I think we would start with meditation, Sailesh.
Yes, just final one thing. I was just reminded of that in Gita, Lord Krishna, what he does, he tells Arjuna at one stage, well, I have told you everything that I could. Now it is your choice. You make the decision what you want to do. This is what this chapter is. Babaji is saying, I have taught you all that I wanted to teach you. Now the responsibility is in your hands. Do what you can do with this knowledge, right? That's what it is. So thank you. Yeah, let's start the meditation.
So just relax, come to this moment. We have beautiful energies and a lot of lessons today. Learning is so much fun. It is making life easier and easier, and let us surrender to this wisdom we received from Babaji today on our wise activity in this life, whatever we do. Many a times we felt lonely, insecure, disheartened, disappointed. We took a step back. Many a times we didn't trust the physical life we had. We felt it's an illusion. What are we doing? Why we are wasting time in doing things, achieving no pleasure, no meaning. But everything was always perfect, guiding us to the right place. Let us accept all such situations, bringing mistrust in the life. It is precious, all that we do from school to college to entire life. It has a meaning. So take a slow, long, deep breath in and out. Open yourself more and release. Exhale. Take a comfortable position. Take off your glasses. Relax into this moment. To be in harmony with yourself. Check your body, your posture, alignment, space, comfort. Anything that doesn't let you settle, just fix it in this moment. That's what we are doing to fix our life. Anything that has not been working, we are letting it go. So today, just have that hammer of love to break those patterns, stubborn thought patterns that kept us aloof, lost. What's the meaning of life, the purpose of life? We have always wondered what fantasy it would be, what I would be doing in the future, how I would leave this place with at most fulfilled experience, satisfied life. Many times we felt less and felt that I'm not in that space to guide my children. What I have done in my life, what can I tell them? I'm not a master of life. At least that was to me. So I gave up all my trust from myself that I could do anything good. I could make a difference. If that is your case, just let it all go. Everybody is unique, doing their best, and I am doing my part here. So whatever happened, is it like a restless feeling within, anxious, or I am not sure what's going to happen, what I have thought now, how it is going to manifest in my life? Let it all go with every breath. We start living the moment. We become aware. We awaken. Somebody comes and tell us, remind us. That's the law of nature. Whenever we are falling apart, we are guided. And that kept the life going, even no matter how much difficult it was, how much hopeless it was. It was temporary, just for an experience. How else we will learn? Where else we will learn? So we chose this space, chose this time, this place, this experience, and the people. So breathe in more and relax more. From head to toe, scan your body. Just relax. Let it drop. Feel comfortable in the space you are in. Feel comfortable with yourself. Any thought that doesn't bring that comfort, exhale it out. It could be a worry from a day, from past or future. It has no value in it because now we know in the image of God we are the creator. So we take the control. And I enjoy this gift of free will. I use it wisely with my higher self, all-knowing intelligence, this soft light, guiding light, the loving care is always with me. So let us again feel the vibration, that pulsation at our heart center, enlivening this life, feeling life in this body. Feel it. Let us come to a relaxed breathing as we settle down. Our breath is also settling in harmony. Gently take your awareness to your heart space, center of your chest. This body helps us to identify center of our existence. Otherwise, we would have been lost in our infinite existence. There is no beginning, no end. How can we find the center? So we got this body to live that infinite existence in this limited shell. That is our kindness, compassion, to surrender our vast existence into this small, tiny body, which is magnificent in itself. How does it make you feel now? Just feel in your heart space. How am I feeling today? Every moment. How am I living every moment? Am I feeling kind, compassionate, loving, gentle? Or something is holding me back? So let us work upon clearing our energy field. The light around us is contagious, inviting. It's light of kindness, compassion. So existence in need comes to us. Let us deal with them lovingly, filling this body with love pulsating from this heart. Just feel that center, forget everything and expand from there. Every breath is happening from that center of my being. Of my vast existence. I feel that pulsation now as I bring my awareness there. It's always happening, the soothing, gentle vibration. That is me, my trademark, my unique existence in this infinite. And I experience it more as I expand my love from this center to entire body and the energy field all around this body. How does it feel now? So let us reaffirm. Speak with me loudly or silently. To clear your aura of all uninvited influences. Lovingly say and feel, I send love and light to all uninvited influences in my aura. You are each whole and healed. You are each created in love and light. And you are still love and light. Do not be afraid. No need to be in pain. Each of you has a perfect place to go. And I ask my higher self to take you there now. Take name of your higher self and ask them to guide these influences to love and light. Each one of you go peacefully. I set you free. We hold on to those influences. Sometimes we call it stubborn thought patterns. But at our will, we can give it all. We can give up on it. Let us close our aura. I close my aura to all except my higher self. As I feel more love and light in my existence, I expand, I send love and light to all the thought forms around me, to all the things around me. As love is present in all the corners, everywhere. I become one with it. Now I'm ready to receive my higher self signal. So ask, my beautiful higher self, please give me your signal now. It's always there. You may not even feel it because it's there. But as you intend or you check yourself, you just find it. We are now unified and we are ready to receive today's message from our higher self. Just check what is there. You may open your eyes to write the thought you received. Now let us communicate with our higher self. My dear higher self, today I want to learn from you the wisdom of fulfilling my own life purpose. So guide me today as I speak this creating formula. Help me see So just say by yourself, God and I claim and accept thoughts of fulfilling my life purpose with forgiveness and thanks. Amen. Tathastu. So be it. You may want to write this and speak it aloud. God and I claim and accept thoughts of fulfilling my life purpose with forgiveness and thanks. Amen. Now all my thoughts will guide me there as I become one with the divine. When I know what it is, what made me from where I started, I can track back. I can go back just by seeing that light. It's only me. I will say, yes, I am home now. But only after completing my own experience in this body, where as a little baby, I opened my eyes from that dark, comfy space. When I came out, I felt unbalanced. I learned to access the space around me. I stretched my leg, my hands a bit, very slowly. Then who I saw around me was very alien to me. And ever since, I have been trying to become like that. So I tried to turn around, to crawl, to stand up, to run, to do all the things that's happening around me, to fit in the society. It was so much fun. But then I lost my purity somewhere. That comfort I had with myself, the ease that I had with myself, was challenged many times, and I remembered that challenges are there to make me grow. Those aliens were my role model now. Achieve in life, achieve in life. Keep achieving. the medals, the success, the all-rounder. Yes, that brought her joy. Very temporary. There was next standing in front of me to challenge again. It challenged my own perfection. Which I never lost. But I had a different definition of perfection. So trying to be with everybody, I was out of the place in my own space. I miss to see what life is for, why I came here. So God, I looked at you, asking for perfect life, for asking for love, for peace, for happiness. For abundance, for a job that fulfills all my needs on this planet Earth, to have a better family, safety, with money, all the relationships. I looked upon you and I asked, I thought you would somebody doing things like we do, controlling, managing by your hands, keeping a record of goods and bads, rights and wrongs. And I was lost for the longest eons and after eons and after eons. I come back again to see you, to find you. I learned to see you in many ways. But now I truly feel you here, right in this moment, when I say what you are, not who you are, but what you are. Oh, my dear God, you are love. Now I know it, I feel it. God is love. Just say with all acceptance. Feel it right here in this moment. You may want to cry as you feel Him standing by you always. Whether you want to see as your father, your mother, your beloved, or your enemy, I was always there. My dear, I never left you. God is love. And love was always there for me. I'm grateful for giving me that all the time, by all means, for giving me taste of different aspects of this life. I played so many roles, from beggar to king to a handicap. I still find you. No matter what I do, I cannot disregard you. your love to me. I receive. Say within, God is light. I can't deny I'm here today by your guiding light, by your presence. I thought I died. I thought I could not bear this situation where I lost someone, somebody, or my own ego. How much ever I deny, I just find you as light always. So when my tear flows through my eyes, these light make them a beautiful rainbow. From eyes to cheeks to chin. Every wound is an opening to receive your light. So I embrace life. I know it is always guided with your light. God is truth, is always present. His presence as love. Nobody ever can deny it, because that's what we breathe in and breathe out. And I am at ease in this body. No matter how much I need. It comes effortlessly. It touches every cell of my body. It feels life and then it leaves. God is happiness, joy, and bliss. That's what I feel once I have this life. I realize that it is to celebrate, it is to dance, to sing, because the song of life is there in that vibration I am carrying in my heart center there. And I just now align myself with that vibration in all that I do. And I find you in every smile, in laughters, in tears of laughters. And that is laid on your peace. Otherwise, everything would have been muffled. So God is peace. In that peace, we can write our own story of laughters, of tears, of love. That love only present without speaking anything, just making us feel loved. God is all-knowing intelligence, one who knows all. He knows everything in and out. The law of nature, the law of creation, and it finds love in everything. What else it could be? A gentle, soft, humble existence. Because it notices the compassion in all life that suffers in ignorance but comes back in existence with love by all accepting. So God is that humility, that softness, that gentleness with all-knowing intelligence. Knows that thought that created everything, gave life, gave cycle, gave a puzzle, a game for enjoyment. What else? God is grace, God is compassion. He was present as love in our pain. When we did wrong and we went in shame and guilt, He always embraced us without judging. And we experienced it. Came back in life again and again. Many times, many times. To experience that God's compassion, God's grace. Just like little baby plays tantrum. And every rub on the cheek, that cuddle, just to draw our attention, to feel, to make her feel loved. We keep playing. We call it Leela. It happens all the time. We just don't know it. So God is omniscient, that all-loving presence. Omnipotent, the power of love to heal. To live, to expand. To be one with everything. God is infinite energy. Expanding endlessly. As love expresses itself, the universe expands. As we come in life, again and again, we create. As God, as Creator. He who never judges, never interferes, never say no, is all accepting, all embracing. He has no sides, no partiality, no injustice. It only knows yes, Tathastu. So God is Tathastu, God is Amen. And that I am, in that image of God, have everything what God has, what I feel for God. I forgot I have that as my heritage in my being, in my existence. So I embrace all He gave me, what He had, He was, in His full expression. He created this world and me, entire nature, the universe. I'm standing here at one side in my vast existence. I can't see the other. And when I reach other, I forget from where I started. So it kept me in illusion all the time. But as I take my awareness to myself, to my life, I see that image of God in me, who is a creator, made me a creator. And I have been creating unknowingly. With all that limited knowledge I had, I created my experiences. Now I embrace. Are you ready to embrace yourself? So say, I am made in the image of God. God in me, this human body. is love. I am love. I am light. I know where to go. That light has filled me, gave me direction with clarity. I am truth. I know what is permanent. I am that. I breathe in, breathe out to expand more, to receive more. That happiness I am, I express through me. Now, as I embrace, I am happiness. I am joy. I am bliss. Expand your chest, open up more. Breathe in more, expand more, to live it. I am peace. I hear myself, all my laughters, all my tears, all the expression of my love. I am all-knowing intelligence. Tells me that everything starts from your thought, and you have the God's thought as seed in you. Never forget that. God's perfection in you. Only be aware of that perfection and you will feel whole and complete, without comparison with others. You can live who you truly are, your purity, sanity, divinity in this life you came for. As it was your expression. From your being, from the being of love. That feels innocence. God is innocence. And that innocence. Happily accepting all I created. Has God accepted me? Who am I to reject His creation? Elevate yourself. How much you can embrace God in you. That image in you. You give image to God. In your being, He's there. In your doing, He's there. In your expression, it's Him. And that is how we are the creator of this ever-expanding universe. From zero to abundance to infinity is God's abundance. From nothingness to everything. Where He exists, I exist. I am abundance. Everywhere present. All-knowing. I am. Humility. I am. Gentleness, softness. Soothing breeze. I am. As I exist in His image, I claim this existence of mine, no matter what that illusionary, temporary experiences of life says to me, which was the creation of ignorance. I deny that. In this image of God, I completely live the perfection of God, as His intention was to create love, to create heaven. But He never forced us to create what He created. He gave us that free will. But out of our true nature, we didn't like our creation and illusion. But that too was perfect. Just like water cannot leave its existence in any form, whether it is an ice, flowing water, or steam. We cannot lose our true essence. And that is where we are returning to. Every day, as we unify with God, we claim His quality, and it resonates in our heart space, that vibration. It expands, it grows. I know what I am. I know what I'm here for. I'm here to express His qualities. And for that, anything that I choose to do, it fulfills the purpose of life. So I become non-judgmental. I am non-judgmental. Not taking sides. Not attached with yes or no. Agreement, disagreement. Just seeing as things happening, as accepting of all. No need to correct others. No need to improve, just to be in that harmony of my existence. I have all that I need to express, to spend in this life. And I know as I spend more, I create more. So spending is important. Spending love and light and beauty and serenity, purity, that divinity I never understood before. But all these names comes to one. I am love. That's it. When I say I am love, I am home. So every day, no matter what happens outside, what all is at stake, remind yourself that What am I? What I am? I am love. And from that, I claim now that I am fulfilling my life purpose in whatever I do. And I accept manifesting the fulfillment of my life purpose. Whatever I do. So my life purpose was to be unified, and I chose to be a doctor, engineer, or clerk, or homemaker, or whatnot, a businessman. However successful we were, how much money we had, why it was not fulfilling. Let us ask our higher self. Connect with it. My beautiful higher self. Take name. Now please reveal me the thoughts that prevent me from fulfilling my own life purpose. Be receptive and just hear all your thoughts. See the scenes of life that falls in front of you. Where that fulfillment was not there. From school to college, to marriage life, to job, relationship. If I die today, will my purpose be fulfilled? So many times it happened that, what I wanted to do, I didn't get that opportunity. My siblings were lucky, but not me. I had to forcefully live this life. And I was never satisfied with it. Forcefully, I chose my career. Many times I limited myself, not trusting myself. I felt I was discouraged by others. didn't let me express. And we kept on growing on grudges and fears, on rejection of ourselves. That cannot be our life purpose. I may feel fulfilled when I serve water to somebody, when I love somebody unconditionally, when I do not complain or criticize others. When I could communicate, express myself fully. I live my uniqueness. It's all that God made me. See, where do you see yourself? Flying on the sky, expanding your wings. What gave you that wing? What action in your life could make it fulfilled? The work that doesn't make you tired, only brings you what you are. So it keeps on growing. Expanding. So even sweeping a house, sweeping on road could be as fulfilling as relaxing in couch, sitting in temple, or in your own space. You wanted to do something, but there's no one who can stop you. You may say, situation made me do this, but actually, that was my plan. So I take my grudge back, anger back, all that suppression, depression. Was meaningless, was untrue. So go beyond all that limited self. The deepest desire sitting to make you live this life as whole. That is what we will claim. So just see and make it ready for your claim. You may want to write it down now. Anything, choose anything that comes to your mind. Just write it down. From feeding orphans, children, or the old age people, or the handicapped family, or just do nothing and just be in that being. Just feel at peace and let universe work through you. And you are open to receive, to move, to excel as time will take you. That's the beauty of time. It compounds. It compounds what we carry now. So let us heal ourselves from those thoughts that we felt I was suppressed, depressed, discouraged, not heard. I was continuously stopped, forced by others not to be someone, somebody I wanted to be, or the situation or time, whatever it is, or people or person, whoever it is. It was my own plan, my own clarity was not there, my own trust was not there in me. My own passion was missing, my own life was losing its essence of love. So from where my expression would come? So now, just repeat all that thought that you want to heal and release yourself. Whatever you have written, say it. I heal myself and release the thought that people stop me and they think I'm stupid, I can't do anything, I do not have enough resources, not perfect situation for me, or I'm not smart, I do not have clarity. I give up my will. I feel depressed, suppressed. I heal myself and release all these thoughts that comes to your mind. Just let it all go. And now, claim that you are. I know that I am love that fills this existence in life. I am light. I am whole and complete. I am all-knowing intelligence. I claim that I was created perfect for this life. And thus so I am perfect now and will always be perfect. And I trust in that life, that love. That is my life force. And I could do anything I wish to do, I wish to choose. So I heal and release all my thoughts, known or unknown, conscious or subconscious, that interfere with my claim to fulfill the life purpose of mine. And now My thoughts are one with, same as, and in tune with God's thought. My heart is in state of forgiveness of all loving, all accepting, and I'm in my full expression now. So I thank God for the guidance every day for my activity, to make it a wise activity, to whatever I choose to do, I fulfill my purpose of living on this planet Earth. Now I release and I live this claim to God and the natural laws of creation. My claim is now created, and that is the nature of natural law. I surrender. Amen. Whatever communication you have from higher self, those correcting thoughts, those God qualities you want to claim for yourself, take your time to write down, to create your own creating formula. Now just say, God and I claim and accept the thoughts that I am love. I am whole and complete. I am all-knowing intelligence and perfection. With forgiveness and thanks. Amen. Let us thank our higher self for the guidance today in this beautiful, loving way to make me feel God, to make me feel my life the way I want to live, how it is different, the way I have been living. Will take me to the point where I have started. So I thank Babaji for guiding us every day in our day-to-day life, in all our work, learning, activity. When we are stuck or when we seek for clarity, He is there as a loving teacher. So let us thank dear Babaji with love and gratitude. And let us send this love with this open heart to all the loved ones. You always wanted to hug them. You always wanted to make them feel comfortable, feel loving, how much you love them, no matter what they do, what they did. Itself is so much fulfilling. And now, let us take our time to come back in this new life every day after these quiet periods with these beautiful group energies. What happens here doesn't happen all the time. Truly, trust me. So, recognize that change and claim to live it. Now, I close my aura to all except my higher self. And I radiate this love and light to all the thought forms around me, in everything, everyone. And I just be here in this state all the time. Whatever I do, whoever I meet, I keep radiating through this open heart filled with love, accepting all, no grudges, no fear, to stop that. God expressing in me, His expression in me. So be it. Thank you for joining me today and your presence for this long. Slowly, gently, you may open your palm and put it over your closed eyes. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Welcome back. You may sip some water. You may want to write down, complete your notes, the thoughts you received, the images you received, the correction you want to do, the creating formula you want to do for yourself. Thank you, dear masters.
Thank you. Thank you, Preeti. Thank you, Masters. It's been a long session. So if there is a real urgent question or something you want to ask, you can ask now. Otherwise, we will continue the session tomorrow and day after. You can raise your hand if you want to ask something. Please continue the practice during the rest of the day and also read the chapter by yourself slowly. This chapter has a lot of content, so take your time to read the chapter. And of course, any questions you can always ask in the group or also here. On Sunday, we will do question answers as well. So I will bring the session to a close now. And thank you so much for your participation, your patience, and your diligence with the program. Thank you. We'll meet again tomorrow at the same time.